How's it going, YouTube? Today's video is Janie Mackenzie message speaking about Jack and Lily Sullivan. I got all these voice messages off Sonny's channel, It's a Crime and Shame, so please go and check out Sonny's channel if you haven't already. So making this video for you all, I spent a full day editing Sonny's part 1, and right at the very end I noticed Sonny say she would send it all to everybody who wanted it. Then it didn't have any of Sonny speaking in it. So I had the choice of deleting my 4 days work or finishing what I had started. And me being me, I had no other choice than to finish what I had started. And I spent another full day editing Sonny's part 2. So I've done my best, but if you do hear another voice other than Janie's, that will be Sonny.
Not to go in there because there was a dog in there. She told me that if I interfered in her investigation, she'd have me removed off the property. I told her there was a dog in there. If she didn't even give me the chance to tell me to take my dog out of there. She started shooting off to me. I then let the searchers search my trailer. Malaya let them search my trailer. And on Sunday morning, Mason and 3 other people come in and searched my trailer. They even checked my washer spinner. So I did not refuse to let them search my trailer. I just told Officer Mason there was a dog in there. My dog was protecting his property, and I was scared if she went in there, my dog would have done something. Not that he would have, but you don't know when somebody enters your property without a dog knowing. It was just for her safety and my dog's safety. So if people can't understand that, then they don't know anything about dogs. My dog has lived a quiet life here, and all of a sudden I have all these search and rescue people here, all cops, helicopters, drones. My dog is got so much anxiety in him, he's losing his hair. I had him to the vet. The vet told him as long as I was stressed out, my dog would be stressed out. So it had nothing to do with me not letting them search my RV. I was just the safety of the officer. And for my dog. And as far as the cupboard goes, I had nothing in the cupboard. I do not do drugs. I do not have guns. I don't do any shit like that. So there's your answer to the cupboard. There's your answer to the RCMP not searching my trailer. They have searched my trailer 3 times. Oh, and by the way, I do not accept friends' requests, so don't even bother sending me one. My dog does not like Lily's loud scream, just like any dog would not like Lily's loud scream. I can't stand Lily's loud scream. If you watched her birthday party, the way she screamed, could you stand Lily's scream all the time? My dog reacts. My dog tells me when there's people in the yard. My dog tells me when the kids are outside. My dog is really sensitive because he's so used to being all alone here for the last for whenever the kids showed up here 2 years ago. My dog has been used to quietness. When Jack and Lily moved in here, my dog got more sensitive to sounds because of the kids yelling, screaming. So yes, my dog is very sensitive to Lily's scream and Jack screaming or talking. Okay, to save everybody trouble, here is what happened at the end of my driveway, the altercation. My brother, me and Justin were out on the 4-wheeler. We were up at the pipeline. We were coming out at the road called the Matheson Road. Malaya called me on my phone. She called me at 3:32. I didn't answer because we were talking to a lady on her 4-wheeler with a child. Then she called me back at 5:39. I answered the phone. She told me to get back here to the trailer. I said, "What's up?" She said, "I can't tell you over the phone." So I came back here. Me and Justin came back here to the trailer. Marlea was standing on the edge of the driveway, crying her eyes out. I went up and I put my arms around her and said, "Please don't tell me that they found the kids dead." Haley started shooting off about something. And then I think it was Shelby, I'm not 100% sure, she started shooting off. I ordered them off my property. The or the RCMP came and asked me what was going on, if there was a fight. I said there was no fight, I just ordered them off my property. He took me aside, he has it all video cammed, he took me aside and asked me what happened. I said, Malaya, exactly the same thing, Malaya called me, I came back here to the trailer, I thought the kids were dead. Then Haley and this other girl, I think it was Shelby, I can't be 100% right, started shooting off. I told him to get off my property. He asked me what the altercation was about. I said I didn't know. I didn't listen to them. I wasn't fighting with anybody. I told him that the most important thing was to find Lily and Jack. He agreed with me. I did not order Maria off the property. She was more than welcome to stay here. Her grandmother was even here, and her grandmother was going to stay the night, and I said that is fine. Cindy's more than welcome to stay here. So I did not order Malaya off the property. What went on after they left, after the police left, and after they went to this briefing, I do not know what happened. I stayed here. I stayed here, and me and Justin went back out on the bike. So whatever happened after Haley and this other girl left, I don't know what happened. I was away with Justin on the bike. So you have to get all your information from Daniel and Malaya about that, because I do not know. And I'm going to clear up this thing about Belinda. Belinda said that she came and she said that I was crying, and I blame myself for it, and this is the time that I wouldn't let the police in. Said that I wouldn't let the police in my RV. Well, the reason why I was crying, Belinda, is I blame myself for not getting up that morning and seeing the kids. Because whenever they're outside, I'm usually out there. I'm the one watching those kids. I watch those kids out in the yard every day. That's why I blame myself for not getting up that day. If I would have got up, this would have never happened. So that's why I was crying that day, Belinda, is because I blamed myself for not getting up for those kids. And I'll tell you something else, and I don't care if you believe me or not. I would never, ever, ever let anything happen to those kids. I watched them for 2 years. I seen them day in and day out. What went on between Malaya and Daniel has nothing to do with me. I live here in the camper. They live in the trailer. What went on in there is none of my business. And when you have to call your kids, or Jack and Lily's mother, and tell them that Jack has his boots off and Jack has his coats off, does that tell you that Malaya was watching the kids? So don't come down on me because they weren't my grandchildren, but that I do consider them my grandchildren. I don't care what anybody says. When they came into my life, they became part of my family. So if people doubt that, then they don't think very much of me, because I'm not that kind of a person. No, I want to continue this. I want to get this all out of my system, and I want to tell you guys the truth. It really bothers me because I've been a grandmother for 9.5 years. In the last 2 months, I can't be a grandmother anymore. I'm not a grandmother. My oldest granddaughter's birthday was on the 25th of this month, and I couldn't even see her, all because of what happened. And I had nothing to do with it. But I am the one that is suffering. So is Jack and Lily. They don't know where they are. They don't know what's going on. Well, Meadow doesn't know what's going on. And my other 2 grandchildren don't know what's going on. I watched my oldest 2 grandchildren playing with those kids for the last 2 years, and now they don't even know what's happening. They don't know what happened to Jack and Lily. They don't know where they are. It's not about me. It's about, I'm worried about my grandchildren. What impact this is having on them. I can recover from this. It's going to take me a long time. But just think what the impact has on my grandchildren and Jack and Lily. How much it's hurting them. And I begged Malaya to come out and tell her side of the story. And she's the only one that can answer the questions that we can't. I begged her to come out and talk. For the sake of the grandchildren. For the sake of her children. You guys put yourself in my shoes and see how you would feel. You would be feeling exactly the same way I am. I'm no different than anybody else. I do have a heart. And I'm not standing up for Daniel, and I'm not standing up for Malaya. I'm standing up for myself. I told you everything that I know, and I told the truth. If you want to give me a Bible and swear it, then I will. And besides, what would I have to gain by doing something to Lily and Jack? It breaks my heart I can't see my grandchildren. It breaks my heart because I don't know where Lily and Jack is. And look at poor Meadow, what she's going through. She has no parents that are together anymore. You guys just don't understand. I wish you were in my shoes. Being blamed for something that I had nothing to do with. Thank you. Now, if there's any more questions, please ask them now because I'm not staying on here much longer, so get this over with. I am fighting to see my grandchildren. I've already got in the process of trying to see my two oldest. And as I said, I'll fight tooth and nail to see my grandchildren. Nobody's going to stop me. The CPS is stopping me from seeing Meadow because they say it's an ongoing investigation. And I think it's the mother of the two other grandchildren that aren't letting me see them, but I'm taking court action to start starting in the process of seeing them. Starting to hopefully see them. I told the truth, and I will not stop telling the truth until Jack and Lily are found. And my story will not change because I told you exactly the same thing as I told in my interview. I'm sorry guys, I just need a little bit of a break from this. If there's any other questions you'd like me to answer, I can answer them now. But please, one at a time, like before. I like to do it before because everybody shoots me so many questions that I don't have time to answer them all at once because my brain is just going around here. So one question at a time if you want answers. Okay, a lady dropped posters off to me day before yesterday. I haven't had a chance to get out to put any out, but I will definitely put them out. Just right now I'm having a little car problem. So my sister-in-law said that she would take me around to put them up just so she was able to do so. I do own another piece of land, but the land that I own is between my exes and my brother. It is 7 acres and there is no water. It's not by the ocean, it's not by anything. There's no brook on it, there's no water at all on it. So if you go to Google Maps, you will find the piece of land between my exes, which is Daniel and Justin's father, and my brothers. And that would be on the Lansdowne Road, not the Lansdowne Station Road. Repeat, the Lansdowne Road. And to correct Haley and whoever else, the piece of blanket was found on the Lansdowne Road, not the Lansdowne Station Road. I cannot answer questions about that blanket because I was not here when it was supposed to be found. I'm just hearing where she said it was. I'm correcting her that it was the Lansdowne Road. The only time that I was here to have any part of the blanket was when the cops, RCMP, came here and asked about the blanket to Daniel. Daniel and Justin did go to the garbage and showed the RCMP officers the rest of the blanket. And I can vouch for the blanket being put in the garbage because I seen the day that Daniel put it in the garbage because I told him not to bag it too heavy. So Daniel did put the blanket in the garbage. I appreciate you guys asking me if there's anything that I need. No, there's not. The only thing that I need is people to stop the rumors and accusations because it's not helping anything. It is just making everybody's life miserable, and it's also hurting the children of all these rumors, and they got to stop. So I'm here to tell you the truth on my side of what I have seen and what I have heard. I've been telling everybody from the start of this, I had no involvement in the disappearance of Jack and Lilly. I gave the investigators the same story that I'm telling you guys. I did not have anything to do with what if Daniel has said or done. I've been holding this in for 2 months until Thursday when I gave my interview. The reason why I've been doing this is the investigators advised me not to speak to anybody because of their investigation. But it's been over 2 months now. I find the investigators are not telling us anything. They put only one report out since all this happened. They are not giving us any updates. I'm tired. I can't deal with this because they are keeping stuff to themselves, which the public should know. We should know what is happening. I don't believe Malaya took that picture. I believe it was a drone. The same drone that took the picture of the property. I wasn't around when it happened, but I'm believing it was a drone that took the picture of Daniel and Justin on the ATV. There is something else I have to clear up about the ATV. The ATV has not been on this property in the last 5 years or so. Because my neighbor, which I'm not going to mention, is known for stealing property. And that was one thing that I did not want him to take. And I also want to mention too, someone, I can't tell you who, has broken in, when Daniel and I were away, has broken in to our trailer and have taken a few things. I'm not going to say what they are, but have taken a few things. It's all been reported to the investigators. And yes, we still have drones that fly over that are over our place. It's usually Friday and Saturday nights, mostly. So if the people out there that are flying the drones, if you like to watch a 60-year-old woman on a Friday and Saturday night and have nothing better to do, you go ahead. And I'd like to say something else. And for all the people that are driving by, taking pictures of my property and taking pictures to see that what we're doing in the yard, I'm going to let you guys know I am scared of being in my own place because I stick mostly to my RV and my backyard because I never know that when somebody's going to blame us for what's going on, or blame me, I should say, I am scared to death that somebody's going to come along and do something to me while I'm in my yard. That's how scared I am. Now, all these here interviews that Daniel have done, I am scared for him too. I'm scared it will turn out to be like a porta pack. That's what I am scared of. I told the investigators this, and they more or less can't do anything about it because they're on public property, If they step foot on my property, then there's something I can do. Yes, I believe the kids are alive, and the reason why I believe the kids are alive is because my heart is telling me they are alive. If they are deceased, I would have, just like everybody else, you'd have this feeling in your heart that you can't explain, and your gut feeling. But no, I definitely believe the kids are not deceased. I believe they are alive. Where they are, I cannot tell you. As I said before, if I knew where the kids were, I would go and get them. I would not care what kind of shit I got into. I would go and get them. And there's another thing that I would like to put out there. I would like whoever has the kids, or whoever knows where the kids are, please, if they want to and they want to get out of trouble, please drop them off where they pick them up at night time. We do not have cameras. We do not have an outside street light. It is pure dark. If you watch a video of someone that saw me supposedly filling potholes in, how dark it is, because they drove by to show everybody how dark it is. If they want to drop the kids off of here, and if they got the kids to yell, my dog would let me know that they're out there. I will go get them, and I will make sure they are safe. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know in my heart that Daniel would not harm those children. The answer relies with Malaya. She hasn't spoke up, she hasn't come, and she hasn't said anything about all this. That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. The only thing I can tell you about that is I had nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. I know Daniel did not have anything to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance. The reason I know that, I know in my heart that Daniel would not harm those children. The answer relies with Malaya. She hasn't spoke up, she hasn't come, and she hasn't said anything about all this. That's all I have to say. The rest of the answers to all your questions rely with Malaya. I'm going to give an opinion on here, and this is my opinion and my opinion only. I think Sunny should watch what she says about people. She has very, very bad accusations about people, and I do not like it. The reason I am on Facebook is because I will not go on her, because she has her opinion, yes, but her accusations towards people is terrible. And I don't like the way she nags Daniel all the time to come on and defend himself. That is up to Daniel to do that, not her agonize him to do it. And I do not go on any otherbody's show. I went on Facebook there a while ago, and I tried to explain to people, give people timelines, and they just screwed it all up. So I went off there. And that was my opinion about Brenda. Just like everybody else has opinions. So if everybody took it the wrong way, I'm sorry. I will say Dara did get some things wrong with what I said, but in my interview and on here, I am correcting what he said about events. I am telling my truth about my side of what happened. On May 1st, nobody was here. On May 2nd, when Jack and Lily disappeared, the people that stayed here on May 2nd was Malaya's two great aunts and Malea's grandmother stayed the night. On that Friday, May 2nd, the ones that were in the trailer, which was a family reunion, was Malea's mother, Cindy, Malea's grandmother, Patty, Malea's aunt, I don't know her name, I never met her, Malea's two great aunts, I never met them, and Cindy's boyfriend. We're all in the big trailer, eating, drinking coffee. I don't believe any of them went out searching. On that Saturday, after everybody left, after the fight or the altercation at the end of the driveway, everybody left. Except Malea's grandmother Patty was here, and she was going to stay the night. But I think it was Corey, Haley's boyfriend, came and took her. She did not want to leave. But Corey came and took her, and they all left. There was nobody here after that when everybody left on Saturday evening. And I'm going to mention this too, okay? Daniel is a big boy. Or a man. Whatever you guys want to call him. He's my son. I will not stick up for my son. If he is telling the truth or he's telling a lie, that is on him, not me. But I can tell you that Daniel and Justin had nothing to do with the disappearing or anything to do with Jack and Lilly. The reason why I'm saying that Justin and Daniel had nothing to do with the disappearing or the deceased or whatever everybody's saying that he did or that he murdered Jack and Lilly, I know that is not true because my heart is telling me that it is not true. And nobody can tell me, by the way, these behavioral experts are saying the way he's moving in his actions and everything and stuff like that. A mother knows the truth about their child. I did not carry him for 9 months and raise him until he got out on his own. What I don't know what that boy's about. Believe me. If you're a mother, you know. Your heart tells you. Yes, I can understand. But as I said, I have no control over Daniel. What he does and what he says. But what she said about me saying that that's the boy I raised. And that's your son. That was an awful, awful thing to say about me. Because as I said, I have no control over Daniel. And yes, he is my son. And I love him a lot. But I am not going to stand up for him because he's a big boy. He doesn't says it's on him, not me. So Sonny, the accusation that you said about me, that's my son. Yes, he is my son. And nobody will ever take that away from me. But the way you said it about him lying and everything has nothing to do with me. I think you should all go back and listen to what she said about me. And then you'll know what I'm saying. And another thing I can say is, I don't have to go on her show. I can go anywhere and talk that I feel like I want to talk. Just because I don't go on her show doesn't mean that I can't talk to anybody I want and say anything I want, because what's coming out of my mouth is the truth. And by the way, I see her in Facebook chat too, saying stuff. Where does she have the right to tell me that the Facebook is not the place to go to chat? I could go anywhere I want. It's a free world and I have free speech. I didn't belittle Belinda. I just asked a question. And I have the right to ask the question, just like everybody else on Facebook has to ask questions. The only thing I asked her is, the question that I asked her is, for 2.5 years she didn't see her, for 2.5 years she didn't see her grandchildren. She can't blame Daniel for not seeing that. Daniel had no say in it. Melinda had her own mind. She could have took Melinda to court. She could have got grandparents' visitation rights. As I said, just like I'm doing for my grandchildren. She had the right to do that. If Daniel was stopping her, she had the right to go to court and get visitation rights. And you can't sit there and not think about why she has not seen the kids in 2.5 years. If it was because of my son, she should have done something about it. My ex-daughter-in-law won't let me see my grandkids, but by Jesus, I ain't going to stand by and let her not let me see them. And Belinda could have did the same. That's the only thing that I brought up, and I got shot down for it. Oh. But aren't you wondering why she never fought to see her grandchildren? It's the same question I asked. Ask yourself the same question. Aren't you wondering why? And Daniel didn't have any say in those kids if the grandmother could see them or not. It was all Melinda. Not Daniel. Melinda had all the doings with those 2 children. She had all the say over those kids. That's a question I cannot answer. The only one that can answer that is Belinda and Malaya. They're the only 2 that can talk to each other and sort that out. I can't. I'm only telling you what Sunny has said on her show about Daniel was the one that would not let Malaya see the kids. As I said, Daniel had no say in who those kids could see and who they couldn't. It was up to Malaya. I'm sorry, I'm saying kids. I should be saying Jack and Lily. I apologize for that. I can't tell you why Malaya is not showing up at the visuals. The reason I didn't show up is I didn't want to be attacked by reporters. Because I got my story out there, I got the truth out there. But I'm not going to an event and be bombarded by reporters. That's why I didn't go to the first one. But I will be going to the second one. Because I couldn't handle all these reporters coming up to me and me breaking down in a whole bunch of people talk to reporters. The only reason why I got the reporters to come here is because it was on the property, and the reporter said to me, talk to me. She wasn't there to judge me like everybody else is judging me. I got my truth of the story out there, and I'm glad I did, because now the weight is off of my chest and I am out there telling you guys what happened. Someone actually sat down and listened to me without criticizing me, just like Darren did. That's the reason I opened up to Darren, because he did not criticize me. I listened to him, he listened to me, he did not judge me. That's why I opened up to him for the first time in 2 months. And yes, I'm going to tell you something. I had a reporter bribe me to talk to her. She bribed me cigarettes and dog treats. And she even bribed someone else with a case of beer, just so she could get a story. Now, you want me to talk to reporters like that? No, I did not. Yeah. This reporter that I was talking to, Allie, I got to meet her before I did my interview. I talked to her to see if I was comfortable with talking to her. And I did feel comfortable talking to her. So that's why I did the interview with her. Yes, Daniel did do a lot for those kids. Yes, I will say that. And I will also say the only time that Jack and Lily and Meadow ever went to town is when Daniel was with them because Malaya couldn't handle all 3 kids. And I'll tell you something else. For the last 2 years, I observed those kids in my backyard. And the only time that Malaya went out with those kids is when she took Meadow out. And when she took Meadow out, that's all she would do was take her over to see the chickens. I have never seen I have never seen Malaya push those kids down on the swing or even watch them go down the slide. I've never seen her out there playing with the kids. In the wintertime, I would go out and throw snowballs at them, build snowmans with them, build a tall snowbank for them to go sledding in. All the grandchildren. And I would try to go coasting with them, but I have some medical problems. I couldn't really go coasting with them, but I would push them down the hill in the sleigh. I would play snowballs with them. I'd build snowmans with them. I never seen Malaya ever do that with them. When she was out watching them coast, she was pulling Meadow around in the sleigh. After Meadow was born, yes, Meadow got all the attention. I seen that with my own 2 eyes, yes. Jack and Lily were sort of put on the back burner, yes. I've never seen, when I would go in there after school, I would never see Malaya sit down and do their homework with them. I would never see Malaya read to them. I would always read to them when I would babysit them. Yes, I babysit Jack and Lily. Whenever they went somewhere, I would babysit them. And I had no problem with Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily would sit with me and watch TV. I would take Jack. He would hold him in my arms. He would pretend he was swimming. He would pretend he was playing airplane. Lily would be running around showing me her dolls. And, yes, I did more interaction with those children than Malaya did. And as I was saying, if you have to call their mother to tell them that Jack has no boots on or Jack has no coat on, and if she's supposed to be watching them all the time, that's a bunch of bull crap. Because I would even watch my other 2 grandchildren when they were out in the yard, and I would always keep an eye on them when they were in the yard. And I was always yelling for them, where are you guys, where are you guys? And the only time those kids really got outside is when she was putting Meadow down for her nap. And when she would put Meadow down for her nap, she would go down for a nap too with Meadow. Well, as I said, that's between her and Malaya. Well, let's start with Jack. Jack was a curious little boy. He was a happy little go-lucky boy. But I'll tell you, if he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Because when I would get after him to put his shoes on, and when he was running around his bare feet, I would say, Jack, put your shoes on. I've said this. And he would just stand there and put his arms up, fold his arms up, and go, eh, 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 eh. And that's all I would get out of him. Other than that, he was a curious little boy. That's all he would do all day. When he was outside was sit and turn boards over or rocks over looking for bugs and worms. I had my granddaughter down digging worms for the chickens. And he would come down there and he would grab every worm that he could see. And when it would come time to go feed the chickens, he goes, no, they were my friends. I'm keeping them. He would play on the swing. He was a happy-go-lucky boy. Lily, she was a Miss Prim girl, as I would say, if that's what you call it. I guess they call her a diva or whatever, but to me, Miss Prim. Because whenever she would get her clothes dirty, she would go in and change her clothes. I never knew what that girl was going to come out in. She had a kitchen out in the yard. I had a play kitchen. I got a play kitchen for them. Well, for my oldest two grandchildren. And when they weren't here, that's what she did. She'd play with the kitchen. She'd make mud pies. She would pretend she was making hot chocolate or coffee or tea. If a bug got around her, she would scream, there's a bug, there's a bug. And she would go running in the house because there was a bug. Jack would just say, where's the bug, where's the bug? That's all they ever, from what I observed, they just played on the swings a lot. Her and the oldest grandchild would play on the swing. They would sit up there and they'd sing. I would sit there on my doorstep and listen to them sing. They would run around the yard, and that's all I ever heard was Lily saying, come on, Jackie, let's go, Jackie, come here and play, Jackie, come here and play. They were bright little kids. They talked a breeze. Like when someone came into my yard, like if my brother came into my yard, they would come and say hi, and my brother would talk to them, and they would talk to him, and Jack would be there. Oh, look at my worms, or look at my bugs. I remember one day we caught a salamander, him and I, and Daniel said, Jack, you have to let the salamander go, because if not, it'll die. Well, I snuck the salamander out of the bucket, and he looked for that salamander, and he cried, because we let his salamander go. Jack was just into bugs. He loved bugs. Lily was into the kitchen, making mud pies. And then when my two oldest grandchildren would come down, every second weekend they would come. My oldest granddaughter would come in here and they'd say, Granny, we want some snacks to go up to the little cabin they built, or the little fort they built. They built it themselves out of sticks and brush. And I'd say, there's the fridge. My other two grandchildren, they could have whatever they wanted. My fridge was like one of those doors when you go into a store. It would open and close all the time. My oldest granddaughter would come in here and she would take snacks for all of them and pack them in her backpack and go up to the camp. And another thing, the backpack thing. I've never seen Lily outside with that backpack. Daniel told me that they always tried to keep her from taking it outside. But I've never seen her with that pack. The only time outside playing, but the time I did see her with the backpack is when my two other grandchildren would come down. She'd want a backpack too, because the oldest grandchild had a backpack, and she wanted to be just like her and have a backpack. And another thing, when we go walking up the old road here, up the top of the hill here, up above my place there, if Jack didn't want to walk, Jack wouldn't walk. He would stand there and he would just, I'd say, come on, Jack, we're gonna walk. He would stand there and he would stamp his feet, fold his arms, and just look at me. And I'd say, come on, Jack, we're going for a walk. I'd have to go and take him by the hand to make him walk. Jack was a kid, if he didn't want to do something, he wasn't going to do it. Lily, she would walk along. I'd have to yell at Lily, Lily, wait up for us, wait up for us. But Jack, no. Jack would not move if you didn't take him by the hand and tell him to come on. Apparently Lily was the only one that was sick. I think the reason why Jack didn't go to school is because I didn't think I don't think she wanted Jack to go to school by herself. That's my opinion. They missed school Thursday, yes. They went to town Thursday around lunchtime. I have no idea what they went. I do not even know what they bought. I heard them out in the yard here Thursday afternoon. And when I heard them out, my dog started barking. My dog tells me when the kids are in the yard. Okay? I went out, when they heard them out in the yard, my dog started barking. I opened the door and let my dog out. My dog is penned in. I do not let my dog around Jack and Lily. From what I hear through the grapevine, Jack and Lily have not been around animals. When they first came here, I tried to introduce my dog to Jack and Lily, and Lily started to scream because my dog was near her. Ever since that, I've kept my dog away from the kids, Jack and Lily. Thursday, when I opened up the door, Jack and Lily were right beside the playhouse looking for worms under a board. Jack said to me, "Look, Granny, I found a worm, I found a centipede." I said, "Good boy, you keep looking." That's when I went over in my front of my RV and started raking the gravel for the swimming pool. Because I was waiting for Daniel to find his tools so he could help me put the top board up on the fence so I could put the boards up, because I couldn't hold one end and nail the other end. Anybody that knows that, anybody that does carpentry knows that that's impossible to do, to get it balanced and hold one end up and the other end drop. After Daniel helped me, I continued putting the boards on the fence. But there was another fence on the other side that was there before that. So I was out there doing my fence. Jack and Lily were in the backyard playing. I came in the house to have some supper. I do not know when the kids went in the house. I don't know what time they went to bed. I don't know anything of that. That's all I can tell you is from what I told you. My brother called me at 8:48. We talked for 2 minutes, 59 seconds. After that, I laid down. My dog barked because Lily and Jack were here where the swings are. I have a board up over my window. I did not see them because the board was closed. The reason I have a board up over my window is for the winter time to keep the draft out, and for the summertime to keep the sun out. I heard them Friday morning. I swear on a Bible. Better than that, I swear on my father's grave. I heard them Friday morning. So the kids were here Friday morning. After that, I don't know what happened to them. My first instinct, when she told me that the kids were missing, was check the woods. That's what I did.
Right.
And when I found out they were not in the woods, I said they're not in the woods. Right. And for what she said about Jack and Lily wandering, that's a bunch of BS. The only time they go anywhere up in the woods is when my other two grandchildren are here. And they're always kept an eye on by me. And if Daniel's in the yard, he watches them too. And for what she said about Jack and Lily wandering, that's a bunch of BS. The only time they go anywhere up in the woods is when my other two grandchildren are here. And they're always kept an eye on by me. And if Daniel's in the yard, he watches them too. And the kids have never wandered away or never gone in the woods by themselves in the last 2 years. Why all of a sudden would they do it Friday morning? And there's three questions I cannot answer. The first question is who would know the kids were home? And number two, who would know when they were outside? And number three, when I saw Malaya outside my RV, why wasn't she crying or why wasn't she hysterical if her kids went missing 20 minutes ago? And here's another thing for you to think about. I lived here for 26 years. I've raised my two boys here. I've been in this community for 60 years.
60.
I was born and raised here. My homestead is where my brother lives. So, I know the traffic on this road. After 26 years, I know the traffic on this road. Now, nobody is going to go by here and say, oh, there's two kids in the yard. Let's stop and pick them up. for number one, as that's where those three questions come into. And as far as Malaya being isolated, that's a bunch of bullcrap. Because she used to drive Daniel to work when he was working full time. And there's something else I'm going to straighten you out about too in a minute. When she wanted the car, she would drive Daniel to work. She would go do what she had to do. She would even bring Daniel his lunch. She would come home. Then she would go back in the evening and pick Daniel up. So she was free to go when she wanted to go. And another thing, the reason why Daniel is only working 1 day a week is because of this here tariff tax. The mill is having problems getting logs. That's the only reason why the mill is down 1 day a week. And that started in, I think, February. They started going down day a week. But just in the last 3 weeks, they've been full time. They've been 3 weeks steady. 5 days a week. So, if anybody thinks that Malaya was isolated, she had every chance in the world to go wherever she wanted. That's all she had to do was ask Daniel for the car, and Daniel gave her the car. And there in April, she bought a car on her own. So if she wanted to leave, she could have left in April. She could have left any time she wanted. She knew me. She knew if she wanted to leave and Daniel put up a fuss, she knew that I would step in and make her go, or let her go. I would not stop her from leaving. Even though Daniel's my son, if that's the time, I would step in. So, people can't say that she didn't want to leave here because she was isolated, that she couldn't go anywhere. That's a bunch of bull crap. And she had the use of my vehicle too, whenever she wanted it. So, if people think that she didn't want to live here because she was isolated, if that's what she's telling everybody, well, or if that's what you're hearing, that's a bunch of bull crap. And if she did want to leave, and I wasn't around to stop Daniel from letting her leave, there's always 911. There's always a way out. No, I'm fine. I'm just thankful that somebody is listening to me and not bashing me for what I'm saying. As I said, the accusation and the rumors have to stop. It's not good for me, for my dog, for my grandchildren especially, for Lily and Jack. These accusations have got to stop. I don't know what's going on with my grandchildren. I don't know how they're feeling. I can't talk to them. I wished on the 25th of June, I wished my granddaughter a happy birthday through Messenger. I couldn't even see her. I couldn't even go to her party or anything. The rumors and the accusations have got to stop. That's all anybody can do is hopefully that where Jack and Lily are is they're found soon, safe and sound. Either way, I'm not going to say it because I don't believe they are in my heart. Just keep praying for Jack and Lily. And I've been doing it every night. I'm hoping to God that He'll answer me. I'm hoping that the people that know where Jack and Lily are will please, I'm begging you, please drop them off here. They will be safe. We will get them to the authorities. That's all I want. That's all anybody wants. If there is enough people praying and enough people out there looking for them, hopefully we can find them. Hopefully we can bring them home. Stop this. Lily and Jack must be out of their minds, not knowing what's going on or what's happening to them. They don't deserve that. They don't. I wouldn't even want to be a kid in their situation because I know that I wouldn't understand what's going on. So they must be out of their mind, not being able to see their mother or see Daniel or just being around the other two grandchildren or Meadow, poor little Meadow.
You should see her when Lily and Jack would go up to her. Her eyes would light up and her big smile on her face. Now she can't see them. It must, even though she's small, she must be hurting. She's such a bright she's such a bright little child. She just must be going through torture too. How do I know they weren't in the woods? Since that's a brief search, I know those kids. I've observed those kids. As I said, I walked with those kids through the woods. I had to carry Jack through the woods. He wouldn't go through the woods. He would stand there. He wouldn't go over a branch. He wouldn't go under a branch. I had to carry him over them. So I know they're not in the woods. As I said, I don't even like going through the woods because I don't like walking over trees and branches and bush. Could you imagine a 6 and a 4-year-old going through the woods? You guys seen through videos of
Whoops, I muted it.
what the searchers went through. There's no way that a 6 and a 4-year-old could go through those woods. Believe me. As I said, don't even want to go through the woods. I take the easiest route out. But if those kids are in the woods, they wouldn't have got very far. We searched. Look at all the searchers that were here. They had the dogs in here. They had drones. They had helicopters. A 6 and a 4-year-old are not going to go through that woods. Believe me, they're not. Well, that's a question that's hard for me to answer. The reason why is, if any of you have watched Martell'S video of her when she was a teenager and the way she talked about things is the way she is now. Martell'S and I could not sit down and have a conversation. If it was just a brief conversation. When I first met her, when Daniel introduced me to her and the kids, it was okay. My personal opinion of her, I'm not gonna say. But let me just say, when Meadow was born, when I would go in there to see Meadow, and I would hold Meadow, she would always come and take Meadow from me and say, oh, she has to be fed or she has to be changed. She would go in the bedroom and she wouldn't come out until I would leave. When the grandfather came to see Meadow, she would do the same thing. When it came to Meadow, Meadow was hers. I could go in there and I could play with Jack and Lily all I wanted. But with Meadow, no. Meadow is hers. Since that child has been born, do you want to know how many times I babysat that child? Twice. I looked after her twice. Once when she was outside helping Daniel with the wood because she wanted to get outside. I watched Meadow. The second time I watched Meadow was when Malaya had an episode. I think she was having an anxiety attack. The ambulance was called and they took her to the hospital. I watched Meadow until Daniel got home. That day that I watched Meadow, I got Jack and Lily off the school bus. And I'll never forget the expression on the bus driver's face when I took Meadow and said, here, watch her while I get Jack out of the seatbelt. He looked at me because I just said, you have to take Meadow so I can get Jack out of the seatbelt. And I got Jack out of the seatbelt and I got Lily and I took the baby from the bus driver, which is Brian Ward. He's a great guy. You probably seen videos about him on TikTok or on YouTube. And I took the kids in the house, and Daniel arrived maybe 10 minutes after I got the kids off the bus, and he cooked them supper. Not me. He cooked them supper. And I did up her housework for her while he was feeding Meadow and Jack and Lily. So yes, Daniel did look after those children. I have not tried contacting the chief. The reason why I would have not contacted the chief is she probably won't tell me anything like she did Belinda, because the children are not mine, and I did not say the kids were on the reservation, so why would I contact the chief? Now, there's people said that they are on the reservation, and as I told you, I do not know where Lily and Jack are. So why would I go and call the chief to ask him if they're there when I do not know if they are there or not? If you don't mind, I would like to just stay like this, because I can have a chance to answer your questions, because if all these guys keep throwing questions at me, I'm going to read them, and then I'm just going to get all confused, because I'm going to get one question in with another question, and that's just going to screw everything up. If you guys don't want any questions asked this way, that's fine. I'll stop talking. I get all the time in the world. It's not like I have a life anymore. God, there can't be that many more questions for you guys to ask me. I told you everything that I know. Like, I mean, do you want me to tell you what color the sky is today? Like, how much more can I answer? Like, how many more questions is there? God, I answered more questions than they did in my interview. I have no idea where to search. The only thing I can say is keep the flyers going. All this place has been searched. It's been turned upside down, inside out. There's nothing more they can do here. Like, they even checked the septic tank. They checked the well. They checked everywhere. They checked under my tray, under the trailer. They had a drone under there. They checked here. They checked everywhere. There's no other place that they could search here. The kids are not here. The only search that you could search is out there in the world. I felt comfortable answering your guys' questions because nobody was coming to me all at one time. And as I said, I have nothing to hide. I did my interview. I'm free speech now. As I said, I felt comfortable doing my interview. Everything I'm telling you is what's on my interview. Only I am showing you what happened and where it happened. That's the only difference of me talking to you guys now. As I said, when I gave my interview, I felt this great relief off of my chest because I actually had someone that was willing to listen to me and not judge me. So, and you guys are not judging me right now. You probably will after I get off here. But I have nothing to hide. I had nothing to hide. I would have come out sooner. But the thing is the investigator said, even told Daniel to stay out of the press, stay off of the YouTube talks, stay off the TikToks, stay off of Facebook, because it would hurt their investigation. I am so tired of this investigation shit. I told them this 2 months ago. And yet, we had one report from the RCMP of what they have done. It's been a month since we had an update on anything. So I just got it in my mind, it's time that I spoke out. And I did. No, I'm sorry, I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily to share with you. I'm sorry. I don't really have any pictures of my other 2 grandchildren. And because I got to see them, the only pictures that I even have of that I get pictures of is my other 2 grandchildren. I don't have any pictures of Jack and Lily. No, I'm sorry. I got to see them every day. Every day. So No, I'm sorry. Malaya would be the only one that would have any up-to-date pictures of Jack and Lilly. The ones that are on the flyers right now, let me have a look, are actually the up-to-date photos of Jack and Lilly, because Jack and Lilly just get their hair cut not long before that. So the pictures on the on the flyers are up-to-date pictures. Yes, my RV was searched twice on Friday and Sunday morning. As I said in my interview, I might have said Monday morning, but it was Sunday morning. On Friday, I had search and rescue check my trailer. The reason why is this Officer Mason was going to come into my trailer, and I said, there's a dog in there. And she said to me, if you interfere in our investigation, I will have you removed from the premises. That's all I was saying to her, is there was a dog in there. And the reason why I said that is my dog, this is his property. And as I said, if my brothers or my family come and they knock before they come in here. My dog is not a vicious dog, but it is his property. He knows people that come here. He did not know Officer Mason. And the reason why I said there was a dog in there is so she would not open the door and something happened. So after that incident happened, I got search and rescue. I think his name was Rick, to come. Him and 3 searchers came and searched this trailer. And then I heard afterwards that Malaya let people in here to search the trailer. So this trailer was searched twice on Friday. And it was searched again on Sunday morning because Officer Mason came with 3 people, and she asked me to take my dog out of the camper, which I did, and they searched this trailer. And as I said, they even looked in my washer spinner. So yes, this trailer RV was searched. And as I said about the cupboard, I have no cupboards in my trailer because I renovated it. And if they searched my trailer, if I did have a cupboard in here, they would have searched it. So there is no drugs, there is no guns, there is no sex toys of any kind in any cupboard. So does that answer your question for the second time?
No.
Here, be nice in the chat, or I end this conversation right now. The lady that was asking me questions, I wish she continue answering me questions. If not, I am done. When she is done asking me questions, you guys can comment all you want. I have nothing to hide. I lost everything in my life. So, after I'm done talking and telling my side of the story, the truth, if you want to comment and say whatever you want, believe me, I do not care. I am telling you guys, if you don't believe me, that's your problem or your opinion. If you want to give a comment, I am all done with this once I've talked to you guys. No, I thought everything was going well with Daniel and Malaya. I have never seen them fight. I've never really seen them arguing. When I was in there, I'm not sure about what happens when I'm not there. As I told the reporters, and I'm telling you guys, I live in the RV, they live in the trailer. I let them have their personal space, they let me have my personal space. The only difference I seen in Malaya that day of the disappearance is when I saw her outside and she was standing there holding Meadow, and I had to ask her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lilly were missing, and I asked her how long. That's the only behavior difference that I've seen in Malaya, except for this time that the altercation happened at the end of the driveway, which I have no knowledge about. I didn't listen to what I just went up to her and said, please don't tell, she was crying. I said, please don't tell me that Jack and Lilly are dead. And then, as I said, Haley and her friend, I think it was Shelby, I can't be 100% sure, started saying stuff. I wasn't in the mood to listen to arguments. I didn't want to fight because whatever was going on had nothing to do with Jack and Lilly. That's when I ordered them off the property. The police came. I gave my statement of what I've done. Other than that, that's the only difference that I've seen in Malaya's, whatever you call it, the personality or whatever she changes. Sorry, in Malaya was that day. Now, this is me, myself. If my children were missing in the woods, or if somebody has taken them, I would be so hysterical. I would be running around, screaming and hollering, looking everywhere, crying, just like a normal person would be, that a mother. You can't tell me that you carry a child for 9 months and something happens to them, that you're not going to get hysterical and you're not going to be crying and screaming and everything. Well, tell me. I would be. And another thing, I'm going to tell you something now. If something happened to my children, my boys, I would be so hysterical, even though they're 34 and 33. I would still be hysterical if something happened to them. Even though they're growing up. Mama will always be a part of their lives, no matter how old they are. And Mama feels for those kids. I don't care if my kid, if I'm 85 years old and my kid is 60-some years old, I am still going to worry about my children. And I am still going to cry for my children. So you just look at what I've seen and what you've seen on the tape of Malaya's interview. Does that look like a woman that misses her children? Please answer me that. If there's no more questions, I've pretty well answered everything that I could answer on my part. As I said, I'm not answering questions about Malaya, about Daniel. It's all about Jack and Lilly. I told you what I've known and what I've seen.
Jack and Lilly.
I hope it helps you guys, ease your guys' minds. And I thank you guys for letting me talk to you and for not judging me for when I'm talking to you. And thank you to whoever was answering the questions. I appreciate you volunteering to do that and making it easy for me to answer questions. And I hope you keep praying for Jack and Lilly. And I hope they come home soon. And when I go on again, if there's some questions that you guys have not answered and I see them, I will answer your questions. So thank you for taking the time and listening to me babble and get it out there. And thank you for letting me cry on your shoulders. I appreciate it. And thank you, Ken. You'll know what it's about. I appreciate that. So I'm going to take off now. I may be on a little later, I may not. But thank you very much, guys. Oh, there's just one last thing I'd like to say. I don't know how many people are from Nova Scotia or Pictou County or whatever. I would just like to say this, and this is my opinion, but to Robert Parker and Tim Houston, you took the time to go over to the RCMP station and talk to them, but you didn't take the time to come here and see how we were doing. And you're all about the community and you're all about the people. Well, we were two people that needed you and you were not around. And I don't think that was right, because you're there for everyone, not just people that you're favored to. So if you hear this, or if you go into this chat, or whoever knows them, please let them know that I do not like what they have done.
Hi, I'm sorry. I just seen a comment there. I didn't see Malaya put the kids in the car. That's one thing I didn't see. And Cheryl is Malaya's best friend. She's the one that was on the beach with Malaya. I apologize. I thought the picture of Justin and Daniel on the bike was taken by a drone, but if Cheryl says it was taken by Malaya, she's probably right. I wasn't around when the picture was taken. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was her friend that asked about the picture. There's so many names. Like when I seen Cheryl and she said about the picture, I took it was Malaya's friend. I'm sorry. As I said, that's all I know. Oh, sorry. Yes, but I didn't know who took the picture. There was so many drones around here. I thought it was the guy that took the picture of the property that took that picture. That's all I know. I didn't know if it was Malaya or who took the picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was a drone picture. I can't be sure. I thought it was a drone. Look, there was so many people here that day. I don't know half of the people. I don't know most of the people that were here. I only know the people that were here from the community, and some of friends that I know were here. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I was away most of the day with Justin on the four-wheeler. Him and I took off and we just went. So I couldn't tell you who was here, to be exact. If I ran into somebody I knew, I'd talk to them. If I didn't know, I said hi. So, like I said, Malaya called me on my phone, and I called her back, and she told me to get back here as soon as I could. I don't know what was discussed between her and everybody else. I just know when I got back here, I went up and she was crying, I put my arms around her, and then Haley, and I think it was Shelby, I said, I'm not sure, started accusations. I wasn't listening because I was so upset, because I thought that she was calling me back to tell me that the kids were deceased. I said dead in my statement to the cops, but I'm sorry, I mean deceased. And then the next thing I know, all these cops, I think there was 5 cops showed up, and they took Malaya aside. Actually, Officer Mason took Malaya aside and talked to her. The other 2 people, I ordered them off the property, and an officer took me aside and got my statement. And after that, I left and went and talked to Daniel to see if he was okay, because apparently if you listen to Logan's TikTok or interviews on TikTok, she can explain more to you than what I know. So I know Daniel was upset, and I went to see him. That's when I left everything, and everybody took off. I didn't know where anybody was going or what was going on in the whole kerfuffle or whatever you call it. So I went and talked to my boy to see if he was okay. After that, everybody just left. So I don't know what went on. See, the way I thought is anything else that happened here that day was not important to me. I want to stress that wasn't important to me. The only thing that I was thinking about that day was finding Jack and Lilly. And I spent all day, except for when I came here and had a little bite to eat because my daughter-in-law brought some food, and I had a sandwich, and then she took the rest of the food into the trailer, and the ones that were in there, all her family, ate all the food. Anything that anybody brought, they took it to the trailer, and they ate it all. We didn't get anything. We had to defend for ourselves. As I said, it was like a family reunion. They were in there talking and laughing and going on. So, and the only time that I went into the trailer is that time when I seen them all laughing and carrying on, was to tell Malaya that Justin and I were going back out to look for the kids. And she said, do you want me to shut the chickens in? That's the only time that I set foot in that trailer all day. Except for when everybody left and the police officers came and asked Daniel about the pink blanket. I was there when they went out to the garbage can and took the pink blanket out of the garbage. Other than that, after that was over, nobody else was around. Everybody left. And I just sat in the trailer, and some of my friends came and asked me how I was doing, and they were very supportive of me. And God love one of the girls that was there, one of the friends that was there. I had a tick bite on me, and it was starting to get. This was on Saturday. I had a tick bite on me. God love her. She went to the pharmacist and got me pills because I wouldn't leave the property. I never left the property all the time those kids were missing. And after the search, I still don't leave the property. I may go to town maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I stay here and tell reporters to get off my property because I don't want to talk to them. And I'm a homebody. I'm like a hermit. I don't go anywhere. And I was that way before this all started, before the disappearance of Jack and Lilly started, and I'm still a hermit. Oh, there's one thing that I forgot to mention. On my interview, and I'll tell you now, on my interview about the sliding door, the lady that did the interview, her name is Allie, very nice lady. She was the one that opened the door. I asked her to do it for me so everybody wouldn't think that I was doing something to disrupt this investigation, or people saying, oh, she opened it up lightly, or she did this, or she did that. I got Allie to open the door twice. So, she was the one that opened up the door.
Oh, and I also in my interview told them that if they want to come take up my driveway, or if they want to come lift my trailer, or lift the RV, or anything they wanted to do, they were more than welcome to come and do it. I have nothing to hide. The kids are not here on this property. But they did put a drone underneath the trailer. They had an army guy come in with this great big drone that they use, and they put it underneath the trailer. And I offered to go underneath the trailer with a flashlight to show them that Jack and Lilly weren't under there, and they said no, that they could get under there with the drone. And I'm not here for you guys to feel sorry for me. I'm just here to tell the truth. You guys have your own opinion of me. I have nothing to say about that. I'm just here to tell the truth. I want Lilly and Jack found, and that's all I want.
Can I clear something up about the four-wheeler? Justin and I were the ones driving on the four-wheeler, but we picked Daniel up around the pipeline. Justin and I went up around the pipeline, and we were going through an old road, and we seen Daniel, and Daniel got on the bike, and he sat on front of the bike until we got back to the pipeline, and we dropped him off with some of his friends, and then Justin and I took off back home. So Daniel was on the bike, sitting on the front of the bike, so there was me, Justin, and Daniel on the bike. He was sitting on the front of it. But Justin and I had the bike out all day.
I'm fine. I just went through your comments to see if there's any questions you had to ask, and I just wanted to clear that up. I just want to say, Daniel has done so many interviews, and to tell you the truth, if I was in his place, I'd be so confused because people have been asking him so many questions, and it's just, I don't know how anybody that has been interviewed keep everything straight. I think a little things get twisted and everything, but you got to understand, we're all under a lot of pressure here. All this was put on us, or especially on Daniel, because Malaya's not opening her mouth, and Daniel's taking all the backlash for this. So if it was Malaya Malaya opened her mouth, just how much backlash she would get. So you got to cut Daniel a little slack here, guys. He did not use the ATV all the time of the search. It was me and Justin. And as I said, we picked Daniel up on an old road. We went up the pipeline, Justin and I did, and we picked Daniel up on an old road. So Daniel did not use the bike. The only time he was on the bike is when we picked him up on the road. And believe me, it's my four-wheeler, and believe me, I don't let Daniel drive my four-wheeler, believe me. And yes, he is telling the truth. The bike did have a wiring problem because the mice got into it and chewed all the wiring off of it. So that's why it wasn't used neither until it got fixed. I've been looking at the comments, and if you guys have anything wrong, don't get mad at me, but I will correct you guys. If you go back at the screenshots that Malaya sent Belinda, you will find the time of when Malaya told Belinda what time she called the 911. It's all in her messages to Belinda. No, Daniel did not drive the ATV. I told you it was Justin and I that were out on the bike all day. We picked Daniel up on the pipeline on an old road. Justin and I went up the pipeline, and we went off on an old road, and we found Daniel there. We picked Daniel up. Daniel was sitting on the front of the bike.
Is that what?
So there was Justin, me, and Daniel on the bike, and we drove Daniel back to his friends that were on the pipeline, and Justin and I came back home. Well, if you know what a four-wheeler is, it's only big enough for two people. Justin was driving, I was sitting on the back, so we made Daniel sit on the front because there was no room for him to sit on the back with me. Okay, no problem. I'm sorry, people, but I do not accept friends' requests, so please don't send them to me. Is there anything else you want me to clear up? Because I'm going to bed soon, so if you got any questions, ask them now. Okay, I already answered this question. My brother called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town. I said no, I was going back to bed. So I laid back down, I was playing on Facebook, I dozed off. I'm not sure what exactly time. I didn't look at the clock. My dog woke me up. I heard the kids outside. And then I dozed back off again. And the next thing you know, I heard Daniel hollering Jack and Lily's name. Then about maybe 5-10 minutes after I heard him. I'm not sure exact what time because I didn't look at the clock. And when I opened the door, Malaya was standing there in front of the RV. And I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The kids are missing. The kids, Lily and Jack, are gone." And I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I don't know what time I seen Malaya outside because I didn't look at the clock. I came in, I grabbed my boots, and headed up to the woods. So I gave you guys a timeline. 8:48 is when he called me. I dozed off. I don't know exactly what time I heard the kids. And according to what, if I read it correctly in the chat between Belinda and Malaya, she said that she called the
911 at about 9:40. So that's what I believe it says. You'd have to check out the conversation between Malaya and Belinda. I'm talking about the discussion between Malaya and Belinda, not the discussion between Malaya and Cindy. Malaya was supposed to tell Belinda, according to her screenshot, that she called 911 at 9:40. The one about between Malaya and Cindy? Is that the one you want me to look at? Okay, there's something I want to ask you guys about the message that you're putting up on the screen about where it says Cindy Murray. Did you notice that the person in blue, there's no little person beside the message that were sent? Usually when you message someone, the picture of the person comes up at the bottom of the blue. Malaya has the same phone as me, and whenever I message somebody, my little picture comes up at the bottom of the message. So you see where the blue is lit up? How come there's no little person on the bottom of the messages? Yes, we do have Wi-Fi calling here, and when I call on or message on my phone, if I send a message to somebody, my little picture shows up on the bottom of my message. And then when somebody messages me back, their little pictures show up on my messages. So there is no little people on the bottom of those messages. So you don't know who sent them those messages. As I said, Malaya and I have the same phone. Okay, who on here has, what is it, are you saying a phone? What kind of a phone? They say they don't show up on here right now. There's too many things coming up here. I'm trying to read here. An Adro, at least not, okay, on an Adro phone, that's what I have. And I see everybody coming up here. It doesn't matter what kind of phone anybody has on this screen. I see everybody coming up and who's typing what. Yes, when I message somebody, my screen shows up blue when I am talking or messaging someone. But when I'm done messaging, my little picture comes up on the bottom of what I messaged. And here's another thing that's weird. How come she messaged her mother at whatever time it says? Let me go back here. She messaged her mother at 11:33. If my kids were missing, don't you think I would have called my mother before that? Yes, when a message is read by someone that you are messaging to, if they read it, their little bubble comes up on the bottom of what they wrote. Or I should say their picture. So that's how you know somebody has read your message. And as I said, it's says on there 11. Sorry, I have to keep going back. It says that she missed a call at 11:33. Okay? Why would she wait so long if the kids were missing and she made a 911 call to about the kids? Why did she take so long to call her mother? Well, all that I can tell you is Malaya has the same phone as me, and it doesn't matter what phone I chat on to somebody, the little thing always comes up on my message when somebody looks at it. That's all I can tell you. And here's another thing too. I called my brother at 10:19 to tell him that the kids were missing. And Malaya waited till
The time she called her mother to tell her the kids were missing, and I got on the phone and started calling my brother right away. And by the way, on my interview, the cameraman took pictures of my phone and my name on my phone to prove it's my phone, and he even took a screenshot of when Malaya called me when I was on the pipeline and told me to come back here. Well, why send a screenshot to you guys or to this chat showing when she made the phone call to Malaya? Shouldn't it be when Malaya made the phone call when the kids went missing? Okay, here's another thing. If I get a phone call from someone, from my daughter saying my kids were missing, wouldn't you leave right away to come over to see your daughter and be there for her when she needed her? Not like an hour and 33 minutes said that she was leaving then. Nothing happened the night before. I already told you. I heard the kids here Friday morning. Nothing happened to those kids Thursday night. Friday morning I heard them. I just love it when I put on a message here and then I see all these little people just lining up to hear what I have to say. I'm sorry, I can't answer your question, Vanessa, because I do not know where the kids are, so I can't answer it. As I said, I don't know where the kids are. Believe me, if I knew, you don't think that I would let the investigators of the RCMP know where they are? Believe me, I wished I did know where they were. I would, if they were close, I would go get them myself. I wouldn't care what anybody said or what anybody done. I would go get them myself, but I do not know where the kids are. I am sorry. I hope this nightmare comes to an end soon, because if not, I'm going to have a nervous breakdown. Believe me. And my dog is going to have one too, because he's just like me. He's so nervous, he's so upset, he's so much anxiety because I'm got so much in me that my dog is feeling it, and it's not fair to him. So I would love this to be over too, believe me. I would do anything in the world to find those children. Okay, I'm going to answer about 2 more questions, and then I'm calling it a night, because I'm starting to get a headache repeating myself over and over again. Okay, if somebody asks me a question that I already answered, I'm going to say answered, and then I'll take the next one. I'll give you a chance for 2 more questions, so they better be questions that I haven't already answered, please. I don't know who the lady is that was asking me the questions earlier. If she's here, she can ask me the questions, please. Okay, if the question is already asked, I'm going to say answered it. Then you guys can go back and look at the answers, because I'm not going to be here all night answering all your questions over again. I'm sorry. I'm getting older by the minute. Thank you. I appreciate that. I cannot say they were abducted by a stranger. That's my opinion. As I said, I lived here for 26 years. I know the traffic on this road, and I brought my kids up here. And Jack and Lily have lived here for 2 years. So I can't understand why it happened Friday, after them living here for 2 years. And the way Malaya was acting, in my opinion, I feel like she knew what was going on. And there's those 3 questions that I asked earlier. 1, how would anybody know the kids were home from school? And 2, how would they know when the kids were outside playing? And 3, when I seen Malaya standing outside of when I opened the RV door, she wasn't panicked, she wasn't out of breath, and she wasn't crying or yelling for those kids. Well, you can talk through the mic like I'm doing, because I would never be able to keep up with all your guys' typing all at once. Would I hear a car pull in my driveway where I live in the RV? It depends. If it's a newer car, probably not. But if they parked on the side of the road, I wouldn't hear it.
My dog alerts me when people come in my yard. So when he hears a voice, he barks. I get up and I look to see if anybody's there. My dog usually sits in the window. But that morning, my dog was sleeping with me in bed. When he heard the kids yelling, or kids talking, I should say, sorry, talking. Kids yelling, or kids talking, I should say, sorry, talking. My dog was in bed with me, and I told him, it's the kids outside playing. He shut right up. Then he barked again when Daniel was yelling out the back door for the kids. I didn't pay any attention to him because I thought he was telling the kids to get into the house. And besides, Jack lets my chickens out. And I let my chickens out at 7 o'clock that morning. So Jack has a habit of going around, moving stuff, and the chickens get out underneath the pen. So I thought he was yelling at him about the chickens. We've been saying that from the beginning. She only made one interview since that day when the kids went missing. She hasn't opened her mouth to anybody else, as far as I have known. We can't get any information out of the investigators. We've asked, but he says that they cannot tell us anything about their side of the family, what they're doing with them or what they are talking about or anything, because it has nothing to do with us. Just like they cannot tell them anything that we have said or we have done. So, if you want to blame anybody or anything, blame the RCMP and the investigators for not putting out a report on what has been done so far in this case. To answer your question to that, what do you think my motivation is for Malaya doing this? I can tell you this. I'm not Malaya. I don't know what Malaya thinks, and I don't know what Malaya does. So I don't have any idea what her motivation would be for her doing this. That's a question you have to ask Malaya. As I'm going to say to everyone that is listening, I live in my RV. They live in the trailer. What goes on in the trailer is their business. What goes on in my RV is my business. It would be a different thing if I lived in there. I would know what was going on in their lives. But where I live out here, I have no idea what's going on in there. Yes, Cindy has been to this trailer, I would say, at least 3 to 4 times that I know of. And I've talked to the lady once since she's been here. She's never been to any birthday parties. When she does come over, she has taken the kids, I believe once, maybe twice, I'm not sure, taken them, both of them, but sometimes she only takes one kid at a time because she can't handle both of them at the same time. So I never really, I'm going to say 3 or 4 times, I don't know, could be more. I never really took notice how many times she was here because, hell, it's none of my business when she comes and when she goes. I know Patty has been here a lot more times than Cindy because Patty has never missed a kid's birthday party. And when Malaya and Daniel moved into the trailer, Patty came over more than Cindy ever did. And then a while after that, when Patty wasn't able to drive or didn't want to drive, her Hayden would come over to the birthday parties and drive Patty here. So Hayden has been here at the trailer. I will answer your question. No, I did not see Malaya at the end of the driveway. Malaya was seen in front of my RV when I opened the door about 5 or 10 minutes after Daniel was hollering for the kids. I opened the door and Malaya was standing in front of my RV, and I asked her what was up, She said the kids are missing. I said, how long? She said 20 minutes. Well, that's a good question. I wished I knew a way to get Malaya to talk, but there's no way you're going to, because wherever she is, she's got people watching her or people telling her what to say. I don't know. I can't tell you how you can get to Malaya. I really can't. Her friends are not only saying what they want to say, and it's usually towards Daniel, not what Malaya want, or not sticking up for Malaya, because if they're asked questions, they just say, oh, Malaya wants her time to herself. So I don't know how you're going to get to Malaya. Believe me, it's been, since I did my interview on Thursday, my chest has been lifted so much, because as I said, I had this inside me for 2 months, because the investigator said that keep quiet due to the investigation. They even get after Daniel for speaking to the press and everything, because they were scared that he would say something that would interfere in the investigation. That's all I can tell you. That's why I kept quiet, because they told me not to say anything. And then as I said, I got fed up with it. It's been 2 months since this happened. I told the investigators everything that I'm telling you guys. I told the news press everything that I'm telling you guys. And I've just had it because there's no updates on what's going on. And it's just frustrating me. And I just couldn't deal with the stress anymore. So I had to let it out. I don't give a shit if I get in trouble for what I've done or not. If they want to haul me away for doing saying something to harm their investigation, let them come and do it. Right now, they got to find Jack and Lilly. They got to stop pussyfooting around and start looking for Jack and Lilly. They didn't take long to come here and search all this place and ask us all kinds of questions and everything. And now they're not bothering with us at all. So the only thing I could say is they must be working on her side. Just try to figure out what's going on her side. Because as I said, I haven't talked to the investigators. It must be about 3 weeks or more. Nobody's been around here. Nobody has been in contact with us. I don't see any RCMP officers around here anymore, or nothing. It's like, to tell you the truth, you want to know my personal opinion, it's like to them, nothing never happened here. It's like they're done here. I already asked that question about my knowledge leading up to the disappearance. I've already answered that question. As I said earlier, the grown-ups can deal with this. It's the children that I'm worried about, what they're going through. I was saying today to somebody, just think what little Jack and Lily's going through. Why? Where's Mommy? How come I can't see Mommy? Why is this happening to me? And then there's Meadow. Meadow can't see her brother and sister. And as I said, when she sees them, she's only small. She's only a little child. But when she seen Jack and Lily's face, she lit up like you wouldn't believe it. And then there's my other 2 grandchildren. They played with Jack and Lily out in this yard for 2 years. I watched them play, and now they don't know what's happening. They don't know where Jack and Lily is. They don't know what happened to them. It's the children that I'm worried about. As I said, us grown-ups can deal with it. It's the children that's having the hard time with it. As I said, I am going to tell you this. And I said it before, what goes on in Daniel's life has nothing to do with me. I don't care what he does. I don't care where he goes. I do not question the boy, what he does, where he goes. I am, as I said, I'm a hermit. I stay here. I don't interfere in his life. I don't interfere in my kids' lives at all. Whether it's Daniel or it's Justin's,
They live their own life. I live mine. So to answer your question, I do not know. Okay, group chat, if there's no more questions, I'm going to say goodnight. And thank you all for listening and not judging me and letting me cry on your shoulders. I really appreciate it. But now I'm starting to get a headache because I've been here on her most of the day answering your guys' questions. And I think it's time for me to hit the hay. So I say goodnight. Hey, people in chat. No, yesterday I mentioned a couple of people in this chat. I mentioned Robert Parker and Tim Houston. Now, get this. Someone in chat or somebody must have said something because I just had a visit from Robert Parker. And I had a few words with him. And I said to him, after 2 months, you're finally coming to give your support to us. And he tried to make it up an excuse. Oh, I was busy. No, that is no excuse. You're there for the people when they are good times and having good times and having bad times. You're there to support them. And after 2 months, he finally shows up to ask if we need anything. So there is your I think it's your MLA or whoever he is. I'm not sure. But there you go. But it's an awful coincidence after me mentioning him on this Facebook that he shows up to see if we need anything. And you know what I did? I told him to get the F off of my property. And you know what he said? He babbled and said, oh, all right, all right, all right. And he finally got in his car and left. So whoever mentioned about if it was on here, but it's an awful coincidence that he shows up today after me mentioning it on Facebook. So whoever said anything about that, thank you very much. I had my say, and I'm very happy that I had my words with him. I have to leave for a few minutes. I'm getting a phone call, so I'll come back and answer your questions when I come back. I don't know about that because I started watching the TikToks of Sunny and of Dolly. I'm sorry, I can't stand Dolly. And to tell you the truth, I can't stand Sunny's interviews now. I don't watch them. After what she said about me, I don't go on them anymore. That's a question you would have to ask Darren why he said what he did. As in my opinion, Darren is telling the truth. He told me a lot that I don't want to tell anybody. That's up to him. He has his own opinion on things, and he says what he says. So you can either take it with a grain of salt or not. So I agree with his assessments of events. Darren is close with the family on Malaya's side, and he is close with Daniel. I never met the man before in my life. I didn't even know who he was until one day he walked in the yard and he asked for Daniel. And I went in and I said, Daniel, there's someone here to see you. He said, who is it? And I said, I don't know. And I come out and I asked Darren who he was. And he told him, so Daniel, get up. Then they got talking. And he was telling about what he knew or what he heard or whatever. And then I said, well, this is a man that knows what's going on both sides. So I felt comfortable talking to him. I told him the whole thing. That's when he said, do you mind if I go on and say what you know? And I said, I really don't give a you know what. So he went on. He did get some stuff mixed up. I did correct him on that. What he said, I believe. Because what he said, I believe. Because you take a man that is putting his own life in danger, putting his life with his family and his partner
putting that all in jeopardy. He told what he knew. He lost everything. Now, who would in their right mind, sorry, that's not the right words, but who would do that if they didn't know what they were talking about? Or what they heard or what they said? Because you got to look at it. He has more to lose, and whatever he said about it, by trying to find Jack and Lilly test, that anyone, he lost everything. I don't know nothing about what was said or anything. The investigators got after him for letting that out there, and then they came out with the statement after that that people have had polygraph tests done. So he got in trouble for that. Daniel asked for the lie detector test. Yes, he was the one that begged the investigators for the polygraph test. They did not ask him. He asked for it. Daniel and I still take walks through the woods to see if we can find them, just to get out and look. But we haven't found anything. As I said, I do not know where the kids are. In my opinion, they are not in the woods. The searchers are saying they are. But come on, after all the time they have searched and never found nothing, and all the helicopters and the drones and all the area they have searched, those two children, Jack and Lilly, could not have walked very far. As I told you, when I walked with Jack and Lilly and Daniel and my other two grandchildren in the woods, I would have to carry Jack through the woods. There's no way you're going to make a kid do something they don't want to do. Believe me, I've been through it. So Jack and Lilly would not have walked in the woods. The only distance they would have walked is up to their little fort that they built. Lilly is scared of bugs and spiders, the opposite of Jack. When I see them out here in the yard and there's a fly or a bug or something, if Jack gives her one of her bugs, she goes, I don't want that. Or worms. She won't touch worms. She won't touch bugs at all. She gets scared of them. She runs in the house when there's a fly or something around her. So I can't see them going in the woods with bugs and flies and... No. Well, they called all the search off here. There hasn't been a search here now since... oh, God, I can't tell you. There's nobody around here. I think, in my opinion, I think the investigators finally got it through their head that they're not in the woods. So, as far as I know, from what I'm hearing, they are investigating their side now. They did all they could here because there's nobody around. There's no RCMP, there's no investigators around anymore. As I said, I haven't seen investigators in about 3 weeks here. They don't come here anymore. Daniel still keeps in contact with them if something comes up. That's all I know. I don't know what he tells them. I don't listen to his conversations. I don't, as I said, he's old enough, he makes his own choices. And he says his own thoughts. I'm not sticking up for the boy. What he does on his own. As I said, just like me. Nobody tells me what to do. Nobody tells me my thoughts. He stays out of my life, I stay out of his. And when they lived in that trailer, that whatever went on in there was their business, not mine. I live in the RV. And to answer your question, no, I'm not Lilly and Jack's grandmother. But for the last 2 years, I became Jack and Lily's grandmother. They called me Granny. They called Justin Uncle. So yes, I became their granny the last 2 years. And they called Daniel Daddy. You can't stop a kid from from calling you Granny or calling him Daddy. If that's what they want to call you, that's what I let them call me. No, I don't think it's because of that. I think it's because they didn't, the investigators or the RCMP didn't want me or Daniel to say something that could harm the investigation. But I'm not saying anything that's going to harm the investigation, because I am telling you exactly what I told the investigators when they came here. I'm telling you the timeline. I'm telling you when I heard the kids outside. I'm telling you when I seen Malay outside. I'm telling you about the footprints. I'm telling you about where I was raking. I'm not telling you anything that I haven't already told the investigators. And besides, the investigators, as I said earlier, the investigators are not telling us anything other than it's still an ongoing investigation. It's still a missing person. Sank that low on a chat that I was in that they thought they had it all over that Facebook that my dog killed the kids. And that really hurt me, because my dog is gentle. But when it comes to their place where they're trying to protect, that is their ground, and they protect it. So that's why I didn't want the RCMP in here, that Officer Mason. She started opening my gate to come in here, and I told her there was a dog in there, and that's when she said, if you interfere in my investigation, I'll have you removed from the premises. That really hurt me, because I was just warning her that there was a dog in there, and if she really wanted to search my trailer, she would ask me to take my dog out, which she did not. I got a searcher that was here to come, and there was 3 other searchers came, and they rooted this place apart. I took my dog out, so for the safety of them, and let them search. And I also heard someone told me that Malaya let them search here. She took the dog out and let them search here. And Mason came here either Sunday morning. I might have said Monday on my interview. I will correct myself. But she came here Sunday morning. I was over in the big trailer. I stayed the night over there Saturday night with Daniel. And she came. I seen her walking in the driveway. I opened the back door and asked her, yes. She said, would you please remove your dog so we can search your trailer? I said, give me a minute to put my boots on. I come out. I took my dog out. They come in here and they searched the place again. So my place was searched 3 times since this happened. Yes, if it wasn't for my dog being around me, I wouldn't have anyone to console me. He's a sweetheart, and I love him to death. Yeah, dogs can be hogs when it comes to bed. Believe me, I know. If you would like to, but I know it's getting everybody mad in the group because nobody's getting their questions answered right away, but yes, I would like that. Thank you. I don't want you to feel sorry for my dog. I'm just pointing out about what my dog feels to what the kids must be feeling. That's all I'm pointing out. Don't feel sorry for my dog. I am taking care of my dog. It's just that I was just saying, if my dog is going through this much anxiety, what are the children going through? What are Jack and Lily going through? That's my point I was trying to get across. My dog is a Heinz 57. He's got different breeds in him. You'll see him on the interview. And I'm sorry, my dog, as I said, is going through a rough time. He's under veterinarian care. He has lost some of his hair. He was there for a while. He wasn't eating. He wasn't doing anything. And the vet said that if I'm under a lot of stress, my dog is going to be under stress. So until I get rid of this stress, which I am now because he's starting to come around, she said that he will be all right. So I see my dog going through this trauma, and so I'm just imagining what Jack and Lily is going through and what my other 2 grandchildren are going through. They don't understand, just like him.
Like, it's really hard on everyone that doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, us adults know what's going on, but I'm thinking about the children. What are they going through? What trauma are they going through? Especially Lily and Jack, when they don't know what's going on. Like, how come I can't see Mommy, or I can't see Daniel, or I can't see Meadow, or I can't see my other two grandchildren? Like, I can't imagine putting myself in Jack and Lily's shoes, because I wouldn't know. I don't know how they're feeling, but in my opinion, they must be going through hell right now. I had the same problem last night with my dog. He laid beside me and he kept pushing me out of bed, so I didn't get a good sleep last night. But at least my dog is not as much anxiety now that I'm not feeling it. He has been starting to be more lively, and wanting to do more things, like go out and play in the yard. When this was all taking place, with all this drama going on, and all the helicopters, the drones, all the people, and the dogs and everything, my dog is just starting to come around now. If anyone has a dog, when they go through experience like my dog has, when there's nobody around, and then all of a sudden everybody, have all these people come into your yard, and your dog is just like, wow. Like, it's just like putting someone that has been isolated from people for a long time and putting them in a crowd. It's just like they're just overwhelmed with all this here emotion, like they don't know how to control themselves. And I'll tell you something else. My dog, when I put him out in the pen where Lily and Jack was, that's all my dog does, is go to the door to see where the kids are, because he can't understand why the kids are not here anymore, because he's so used to hearing them out here, and he's like, where are the kids? Like, I don't hear them anymore, I don't see them anymore. So my dog has gone through a really rough time, just like I have. Okay, I just got Daniel to do that for me. He put it all in the thing for me. I'm not that technology to do stuff. It was an hour and 19 minutes from her place to my place. Sorry guys, Daniel just came in, but I asked Daniel for Cindy's address, and he told me that it's about an hour and 15 minutes away.
Oh, 19, 15.
So yeah, I will check that out, because I do have her address. So I'll check it out from here to there to find out exactly how long it takes. I know Deerwood had so much on his mind the day that he came and I was talking to him. He, as you can tell the way he talks, he does kind of mix up a few things, but he does correct them. So just a little thing about the RCMP or the investigators. I'll tell you, the RCMP haven't stepped foot on this property since they left that Saturday night. The investigators have been around, and as I said, they got after Daniel for speaking to the media. So I can tell you right now, when the investigators come here, I am going to get blasted out, because they were over around here that day when I was doing my interview. But I have a few words for them, because as I said, I lost everything. I have nothing to lose. If I shoot off my mouth to them and they don't like it, if they want to arrest me for speaking getting my voice out there and having my charter of speech and everything, so if they want to arrest me for shooting off to the media or on Facebook, let them go ahead. Let them do whatever they want to me. You can't stop somebody from telling the truth. So if that's the way they want to be, you let them go. I'm going to let them go ahead and do what I got to do, what they got to do. I'm not standing in their way. I told them
that they're more than welcome here anytime to do whatever they want to this property. If they want to tear up my driveway to see if the kids are there, they can go ahead. If they want to lift my trailer, the big trailer, up in the air and look under that. If they want to lift my RV and look up underneath that, which they have already done, if they're not satisfied, they're more than welcome to come back and do whatever they got to do. I never stop them from being on this property, and I invite them to come back. I don't get to see Meadow. I already asked CPS about seeing Meadow, and that's all they say to me is due to the criminal investigations. They said that Daniel would give visitations first, and then they would look into giving me visitations, so I have not seen Meadow yet. From my understanding, Malaya probably didn't know I was home because I usually go Fridays with my brother, and as I said, I didn't hear her yell at all, and even if she didn't know I was home, you think she would have yelled to me in the camper to see if I was here. I don't understand her way of thinking. Only she knows what's going on in her head, and she's the only one that knows what she does. I have no insight into her brain at all, or her head at all, so it's just like you guys. I'm in the dark as much as you guys, because I don't know what's going on in her head. You never know after me speaking out and pleading for Jack and Lilly. As I said, if Malaya has a heart, she won't do it for the adults, she'll do it for her children. But here's another thing that has got me puzzled and got me very upset is she's fighting tooth and nail for Meadow, but she's not doing anything about Jack and Lilly. She's not on here pleading, she's not on here doing interviews, pleading for the kids to come home. She's not saying anything. So I'll leave it to your guys' imagination to figure out why she's doing what she's doing. I'm not sure what you're talking about at Old Church. There's no Old Church around here. If you're talking about the building up on the top of the hill, it used to be an old community center. And yes, it has been searched. I searched it myself. I walked all the way around it. I told the RCMP that I had already searched that, and I even searched the little camp that my neighbor has up there. I walked all around that. The RCMP, the searchers, everybody looked this whole area around here. Why do I think Malaya's family is keeping quiet? In my opinion, she doesn't want to let anybody know what happened. She doesn't want to let anybody know if she's involved in this. This is my opinion. But the only way you're going to get answers to what the truth is if you talk to Malaya. No, I do not take my told you from Monday right up till Friday morning. So my dog is locked in the RV. The reason why I do that is my dog is kind of if he gets out and he gets out of the fence or anything, my dog likes to go for a little walk. Just probably like most dogs, go for a little walk in the woods, because ever since I had my dog, he's been fenced up, because I got him from a lady in New Glasgow, and she had him tied up all the time in town. So when I got him, I built a fence out back so he would have a place to run, and he's been fenced up ever since I got him, because if you have a dog that's tied up all the time and he gets loose or fenced up all the time, of course when they get loose they're going to want to wander for a little while. And he got away one other time on me, and I know this has nothing to do, but this is the way I felt. If this ever happened to anybody, when their animals go missing, this is me especially, I panicked. I ran everywhere hollering for him. I ran up and down the road. I even jumped in my car and I went looking for him. And that's a dog. I gave you right back to Monday. I told you from Monday right up till Friday morning. That's when I heard and seen the kids. If you want, I'll go through it again. On Monday, they went to school. Monday afternoon, they were outside. Tuesday, they went to school. Tuesday after school, they were outside. Wednesday, they left at around 12 o'clock to go to Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know.
I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, you're getting home kind of late, aren't you? He said, I would have been home a lot earlier. Thursday morning, they didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the tray. I heard the kids outside, and I opened up the door. Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, look, I found a worm, I found a centipede. I said, good boy. I said, you keep looking. Then I went out. I started raking up the yard here for leveling out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the board, because if you have a dog that's tied up all the time and he gets loose or fenced up all the time, of course when they get loose they're going to want to wander for a little while. And he got away one other time on me, and I know this has nothing to do, but this is the way I felt. If this ever happened to anybody, when their animals go missing, this is me especially, I panicked. I ran everywhere hollering for him. I ran up and down the road. I even jumped in my car and I went looking for him. And that's a dog. I gave you right back to Monday. I told you. From Monday right up till Friday morning. That's when I heard and seen the kids. If you want, I'll go through it again.
Yes,
on
please.
Monday, they went to school. Monday afternoon, they were outside. Tuesday, they went to school. Tuesday after school, they were outside. Wednesday, they left at around 12 o'clock to go to Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know. I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, you're getting home kind of late, aren't you? He said, I would have been home a lot earlier. Thursday morning, they didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the tray. I heard the kids outside, and I opened up the door. Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, look, I found a worm, I found a centipede. I said, good boy. I said, you keep looking. Then I went out. I started raking up the yard here for leveling out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the boards up on the fence, I continued with the fence. Then I came back in to get something to eat. I don't know what time the kids went inside or what time they went to bed or anything. And then Friday morning, I got up at 6 o'clock. I sat here and I played on Facebook. I sent a thing to my brother at 6:24. And then 7 o'clock, I went out and I did up the chickens, and I came back in. I sat here. I played on Team U, which is the worst thing you can get addicted to. And then my brother called me at 8:48, talked for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. He asked me if I was going to town. I said, no. I said, I'm staying home. I'm going back to bed to have a sleep. I went back to bed. It wasn't long after that. I can't tell you how long. I laid there for a little while playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I heard the dog bark. The kids were outside. I heard the kids. And then after that, I didn't hear nothing. Everything just went completely silent. And I don't know how long after that, I heard Daniel yelling for the kids. I figured he was yelling at the kids to get inside, or Jack was letting my chickens out, which he usually does. He let them out a few times. So I figured Daniel was getting mad at him for that. The next thing you know, I dozed off again, maybe dozed off, or I get up about 5 or 10 minutes after that, and I found Malaya outside, standing there holding Meadow on her hip, and she was holding her on her right side of her hip. Now, I don't recall if she had her phone or not. That wasn't important to me. The only thing is what I was looking at is her standing there, and I asked her what's up, and that's when she told me the kids were missing for 20 minutes. That I cannot tell you. I did not look at my phone at the time. I just know that after I heard the kids, I dozed off again, and then my dog woke me up. I can't tell you the time in between, but I know that when I left here, after I seen Leia standing out there and asked her what was up, and she told me that Jack and Lily were missing, and I said, how long? She said about 20 minutes. After that, as I said, I come in, got my boots on, and I went up the hill, and I met Daniel, as I said, up the top of the old road just above my RV. So if you look at the map or the aerial view of my place, I don't know if it shows you or not, but if you look at an aerial map of it, you will see an old road just up the top of the hill here. So when I get up at the top of the hill, I seen Daniel, and I asked him if he found the kids yet. He was in the vehicle, in Malaya's vehicle, and he said no. And he asked me if I was going with him. I said no. I said I'm going to search this area here, and I walked my property line plus a little bit more, where my RV and the trailer is, up to that top of the road. I walked up there, walked around along the old road and down, and came around by the 289, and then came back up the same spot, and that would be where the kids' little forts are. Oh, and just to let you know, whatever I'm saying to you is what I told the investigators, exactly the same thing of what I heard. And I even went and reenact what I think happened. And to tell you the truth, if I was a child that was in a fence and got out of it and was running, yes, I would be excited to go. And those kids are always excited when they're running around because they're always screaming and hollering. Believe me, I know. I observed it for 2 years out back here. As I said, that's a question I can't answer. As the dog barked when he heard them outside, and then it went completely silent, and my dog never said a word never barked after that until he heard Daniel yelling for Lily and Jack. So, you can all make your speculations or your opinions or whatever. That's all I can tell you. Well, she's coming from Wentworth. So, the only thing I can do is put my address to Wentworth and see how far it is. Even if it is an hour and 45 minutes or an hour and a half or whatever, I don't know. I don't know her address over there. Still, it would take her a while to get here. Just the kids that morning. But here is something that I want to ask you guys and get your input. If the kids were out in the yard by themselves, let's just say, and they get out of the gate and were running up the driveway, I would know, or I would think the kids would be saying, especially Lily, come on Jackie, let's go Jackie, because that's all she ever did was say that. Even up in the woods with my other 2 grandchildren, if Jack is sitting there looking for bugs, Lily's usually saying, come on Jackie, let's go. So that's another thing I can't understand is if I never heard the kids running. If the kids were running out of the yard, out of the fence, my dog would have still been barking. As I said, because of Lily's loud scream and hollering. So, as I said, I heard the kids out here in the yard by the swings. And then I heard completely silence. So, you guys can have your opinions, or you guys have your speculations or whatever. But I'm just saying, in my opinion, why didn't I hear the kids longer if they get out of the fence and start running up the driveway or leaving the driveway? It says that she's on her way. Okay. on her way. Does that mean she's just leaving, or she's already on her way? See, you gotta look at it both ways. And as I said earlier, if my kids were missing, I would be right on the phone. Or, sorry, if my grandchildren were missing and I got a phone call saying that my grandchildren was missing, I wouldn't hesitate to drop whatever I was doing and hit the road and get here as fast as I could. I just looked at the phone messages thing again that said that she was on her way at 12:01. Okay, it's approximately, she lives in Wentworth, it's approximately about 2 hours and a half to 2 hours and 45 minutes from her place. So that would make her be here about 2 o'clock. No, she was way here before that. She was not here at 2 o'clock. So there's something wrong there, because she was here, and then she was here when my brother showed up, and he was here around lunchtime. So I don't know what the conflict is. I don't really care. But as I said, the only way you're going to find out the exact time is if she hands over her phone to the investigators and let them check. The only way you're going to find the truth out about that, which I have nothing to do with, is from Cindy and Malaya. I can only tell you that the time that I got my call from my brother, and everybody says that's the most important time, and that's the time that I showed them. So after that, I have really nothing to do with timelines, because I didn't check my phone all the time. So that is up to Malaya and Cindy to tell the time that they interacted with each other. I'm sorry, I can't help you on that part. You're absolutely right, Stephanie. With everything that was going on here, as I said, I went up in the woods, I could back down, the cops were here, and then I went back up in the woods again, I could back down. Yes, I could be mistaken about the time Cindy showed up. Yes, it just went like a flash, too. Like the day here was just chaos. Everybody running around, panicking. What it looked like is like a whole bunch of little ants. Everybody just running around, looking for Jack and Lily. So yes, I could have the time wrong. Yes, I probably do. I will admit that. But as I said, I did not look at my phone. I did not have my phone with me all the time. The only time that I really looked at my phone is when Malaya called me and asked me to go back to the trailer. See, I don't know. That day was just chaos, because, as I said, I don't know who all was here and who wasn't. So when the investigators came here to take my statement on that Friday, I gave them my phone, and they recorded, took pictures of my conversation or my messages from my brother that morning, and they have it all documented. So I showed it to them, and they took the pictures of it, so it's all documented. The only one that I can tell you about that is Patty. Patty, I know when she showed up when everyone left for the briefing, because her and I sat out on the back deck and we had a smoke. And then Cody, that's Haley's boyfriend, come back and took her and got her in the car, and he drove her car home because it was late. And then everybody cleared out. But as Logan said, Malaya's car was left down at the Lansdowne Station Road, and she's telling the truth. The cops did, or the RCMP did have her car towed away. because there's a picture floating around of her car on the back of a tow truck. And I seen that with my own eyes. The rest of the people, I don't know when they arrived. As I said, I was up the bike most of the day with Justin, searching for Jack and Lily. That's what I said. Unless you see the original phone messages, you don't know. That's what I'm saying. You gotta see the original. I am showing the reporters my original phone. And I told everybody on Facebook what the original time was, and they didn't believe me. They still got it all mixed up. But I showed the reporter or the cameraman my original phone. All my messages, I let them go through my phone. I didn't care what they seen. I gave them my phone and I said, you look through my phone. And they did. A thought just crossed my mind this morning. Unless you see Cindy's phone originally, she could have did that call right here in my yard, or did that thing right here in my yard. Who's to know? Unless you exactly hear from Cindy and Malaya's mouth what time her mother actually got here. As I said, I might have said a time, but I could be wrong too. But unless you exactly hear the time from their mouths, or have proof right off of her phone, they could have done it here in the yard.
Right, that's the end of Janie's voice messages. I hope it was okay for you all. I didn't speak in this video because I had so many comments and I just wanted you all to listen to everything together with no interruptions, and then you can all comment on the things you noticed. If you haven't already, please leave a like and share on your way out, and I will see you all in my next video. I appreciate everybody's support. Take care.